watching Darwin Nunez miss a game winner to keep Arsenal in the race. So I'm gonna throw that out there. Anybody have a positive from the week they want to share out?
I mean, it was outrageous, but it was still good.
Now that you're on the unmuted spot here, Oscar, what's a good thing from your week this week?
A good thing, I managed to record the like 10 or 15 minutes, but I have some like pushback while you're recording my son or daughter and all that, and I showed them this. I had to print it out and I had to show them this, and they were like, "You need a coaching license for that for recording?" And like, and I fortunately had to be straight up, and it was like I still managed to record, but probably it'll be like the next Wednesday. I think I have to record again, probably.
I think I mentioned this. You guys planning on recording more than once is probably the way to go. You're going to be in there. Also, communicating to your parents while you're recording their kids beforehand is probably
no. It was before. It was before, but I had some pushbacks. Like, why are you recording my son or daughter? It's like I had to show them this, the for the final assessment, and they were like, "Oh," okay. It was like
awesome. Well, I'm glad that you got that process started. Anybody else want to share out a positive from the week?
I got a cool one, I think. We were in our coaches meeting for a league, and we came in fourth. A lot of injuries late, so whatever, no big deal. I'm feeling good about it, but I want to bring anybody up for offensive or defensive. So I'm just sitting in the meeting, and then they brought up my center back, and then they started talking about him. And then so I felt at that point I could talk about him too. So it was cool that he might be up for Defensive Player of the Year, and I never had to bring his name up. The other coaches did, so that was really cool for him.
That's awesome. That's nice when those coaches meetings go that way and they just recognize truly who the best kids are. Good. Anybody else want to share out a positive from the week?
And Carlos said Silmar said hi, by the way.
Hey, everybody. If anyone was going to go before me, please go. Papa, you got it.
No, you got it. Go ahead. No worries.
I was just going to say, I found a group of 6, well, my family, some cousins and some other friends. They're all under 11, and I'll be able to use them for my video.
Now, I'll tell you, Victor, I'm gonna suggest this strongly, that you find a team to work with. If it's one of the coaches in this group, or going to like an organized setting, because that's going to give a much better platform for you to give coaching than a group of kids who maybe haven't played together or aren't used to that structure. So I love that you've done the work to find kids. You have a group of 20 coaches here, including myself, including Toomey. It might be worth trying to get on the field with a team to set this up, because I think that's going to set you up for more success. I commend you for doing the legwork to get the coach, but I've seen this enough times to say if you can get a team that is used to training, that has an environment, you're probably going to be setting yourself up more for success. We can chat about that a little bit more this weekend if you'd like to, Victor.
I know what you mean, Coach. Copy that. I'll hit up some of our coaches in the chat.
Awesome. Gabe, did I see you unmute? Did you want to share out?
Yeah, I was just going to say my men's team played a game last night, final against a very technical, very good team who we've used to get crushed by years ago and gotten closer and closer and closer and sort of been losing by a goal constantly. We sort of devised, a few of us before the game, like a very good game plan, and we played it perfectly, which was just really fun to see, like our understanding of our teammates and our players and everybody's sort of strengths. We played it phenomenally, and just like the game went really as we talked about it, as we sort of hoped it would, tactically, and then we lost at the end on 2 set pieces, but it was great.
That reminds me of a quote. I'm going to pull it up while we get the next one. Gabe, I'll come back to you. Papa, did you want to share out?
Yes, Coach. This week I had 2 teams that they were interested me to coach for one is they are youth, they are 11 years old, and they play flight 2, so I was making the tryout for them on Monday. And today was my first practice with them. So they will have a break from today until March. And the other team too, they are olders, they want me to have a training session with them like for twice a week on Monday and Wednesday night.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is a win. Gabe, your point about playing a perfect game plan and then still losing. There's a Gary Lineker quote that I love. He said, "Football is a simple game. 22 men chase a ball for 90 minutes, and at the end, the Germans win." Sometimes,
I've heard that one.
Sometimes it just feels inevitable. Anybody else want to share out a positive from the week before we kick off what we're doing here?
Luckily, the practice was like literally like less than a mile where I live, so that's the best part. Other than that, I don't know.
Awesome. Love that. Anybody else?
Aside from Madrid winning today, on a separate non-soccer related note, I had purchased a painting when I went to the NFC Championship game for the Eagles, and it was a painting of Brian Dawkins, autographed by him, and the painter, the artist, which is to me was special because he's the reason I got into the Philadelphia Eagles back in 2002.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Going once, going twice. I think it means it's time to jump in today, guys. So this is kind of an odd deck that we have for you guys because a lot of it's about reflection. But Toomey and I talked today about kind of how to present this best to you guys to get the most out of it. Because as I mentioned, we are coming to the end of our course. We have our in-person weekend this upcoming weekend. And then we have our one-on-one meetings and then your final assignments. That all comes next week. So there is quite a bit to do still, but we're really getting to the point where now we're starting to think about the last 7 weeks and tie it all together. Let's see. Gabe, I've got you on my screen here. Will you just read out our learning outcomes for today?
The unmute button. After completing this meeting,
Sorry.
Okay.
Where did that go? There we go. Go ahead.
Learning outcomes. After completing this meeting, you should better understand your purpose of coaching, better understand your values and beliefs as a coach, better understand your role as a coach in your own environment, and gain awareness of the importance of a reflection process.
And so, thank you, Gabe. If you look, this is about you guys today. Why are you coaching? Why are you getting into coaching or continuing to coach? Why are you getting this license? What is it that actually drives you to coach? Why are you on the field with these kids? We've talked about understanding the player in front of us. You know, I think I've said it about 100 times that the guiding question here is who is in front of you. But you've all made a decision to coach, to be in this position, to take on this responsibility. So the question today is, you know, why are you doing it? What are your actual values and beliefs? And your role as a coach in your environment. And I'm going to give you a little bit of self-reflection that I've done in the past couple of years. And I'll use this as a benchmark for you guys, is you get to decide how you want to work with kids and what environment you want to create. And I've made the decision in my years of coaching that I value kids enjoying the sport over wins and losses. I value kids feeling like the environment is healthy over competing at all costs. Now, I think that a healthy environment will lead to more successes and will lead to better teams. But I also, this might be guided by my role in the last 10 years as a dad, seeing my own kids play sports and what that experience is like for them. But I've gotten to do a lot of self-reflection on what is it that I actually want these kids to experience. That said, some of the coaches, in our club at LAFC, in our high school environment that I work in, they value, being competitive. They want the most competitive teams, and that attracts competitive kids, and that becomes a really healthy environment. So if you know what the environment is you want to create, if you know what your values and beliefs are, what your purpose as a coach is, and you really adhere to those, you'll find that the kids that you want in that environment will start to show up. They will stay in your environment. They will find it healthy. So that is why we're starting out tonight talking about you and your values.
Coach Adam?
Yes, please.
And this is for all you guys. Coach Mom, maybe you can help me, like, get away from this. But and Coach Michael, you know me, and Coach Matthew, you know me from that first time we met. This past week, since we last saw each other, I felt like I shouldn't coach at all. I really felt like I shouldn't coach at all, and I should just stop caring so much about this game. I lose a lot. It is this really, really like piled up when I started to think about some of my losing seasons, and then how I couldn't even win a game in FIFA the last night. I lost like 20 times in a row. And I just started to think about how, what's the point of soccer if I could just work anything else? Like Coach Adam, you said, and I've seen this in my coaches don't even make that good of a living. So I started to realize or wonder, what if I just don't enjoy it? What if I start to react like I did in FIFA and get really angry when I'm losing? And I make a fool of myself. And everyone's right about what they said about how I was just a dumb coach who just paid my way to get their license, who went to Spain or went to Mexico to try, or went to Zambia to try to work with kids. But, you know, like, what about the fact that maybe I wasn't, like, you know, good enough for them? You know, I wasn't really good enough to be the varsity high school coach that or because, see, you go into why we got into coach, and one of the coaches, I hate to get into this crazy topics, but I don't push kids to their limits. And the guys that keep telling me that I'm not going to be good enough coach, I don't know if it's because I don't really do that or if I'm different, but I'm not really as tough as those guys. Also told me not to get this license. They told me not to get this license because getting this license is just paying your way through, you know, through coaching. It doesn't really make you a good or a bad coach. And to some extent, you know, sure, that's a point, but I don't know if I should coach or not.
You've mentioned quite a bit there, and I will try to get through as much of that as I can here in a way that is beneficial for everyone. The first thing you talk about with just the wins and losses, my first season as a high school coach, we came in last place in our league. And like, I will never forget, it was coaching a girls varsity team. We lost at, you know, the team that eventually won the league. And I think it was like 7-0. And my center back came off the field crying because she felt so overwhelmed with how much we got beat. And Victor, I mean, even, you know, you want to talk about a new coach taking their lumps, you take on a team, you take on a challenge, you come in absolute dead last. And so the first thing I'll tell you is every coach in this room is going to have losing seasons. They're probably going to have losing seasons. They're probably going to have seasons that don't go as well as they want to. They'll probably have teams that don't perform where they want them to. That is a given in coaching. You coach long enough, your record will be about 500. Part of it is systemic. Our newest coaches are often given our youngest teams in the club or maybe our lowest teams in an age group. And so they're set up for more failures. Our best coaches in our club, for example, they get the ECNL teams. So if you're given an ECNL team to start with, you're probably going to win games. If you're given the third team in the 2015 age group, that's a much tougher assignment. And so those first couple of years of coaching are similar to the first couple of years of teaching. You know, I see this in education, where it is almost set up to make you think, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? This is not worth the money, the time, the heartache. But I would point to this, is that anybody who's in this course, that's a big show of, hey, I want to improve as a coach. And so we're going to go through some stuff tonight, Victor, where we talk about like your own reflection. Think about why you wanted to start coaching. Think about why you wanted to jump into coaching, why you wanted to become a coach in the first place. And does that align with winning or losing games? Does that align with what your kids get out of it? I don't push kids as hard as some kids in our club or coaches in our club. I don't think kids have to run through walls to have fun and be successful. I do a lot of, you know, hey, our players need to play because they want to. I'm not a yeller. I don't say, hey, work harder or else. So this is a good opportunity and maybe a good crossroads for you to figure out what is the environment you want to create and what is that, you know, how is that going to benefit the player? How is that going to make you excited to come to work? I think this is actually a great moment for you to have that reflection piece. And again, guys, every single coach I know has moments where they go, what am I doing? I shouldn't be doing this. I'm not that good. A coach on my Notre Dame staff, a guy by the name of John, he's a B licensed coach who's coached for over a decade. He is one of the best coaches I've ever seen, full stop. He is an incredible coach. He gets kids organized. He's impactful. He's wonderful. He took a job coaching college soccer this year, and his team, I don't think they won a league game. And so it's my dog guys here hanging out. And so he did his exit meetings at the end of the year, and he was expecting the girls to come in and say, this was awful. This was a tough experience. He said that to a player, they came in and said, this was one of the best seasons I've ever had just in terms of enjoying myself. He created an environment where these college level players struggled to win games and still said, I can't wait to try that again. So again, stepping away from the wins and losses really can help us find joy and find meaning in coaching, because you're not going to win all your games. You're not. You're going to set lofty goals, and some will work and some won't. I appreciate the vulnerability you showed here to share out, because I do think that that's something to really consider for all of us as coaches. Sorry, Victor. I think I just muted you there.
I just said I got a little nervous about all of this.
If you're not nervous, it means you don't care. If you're not thinking about, am I cut out for this? It means you aren't invested. So I think where you sit is a good place to keep growing. Okay. I'm going to push forward here, guys. Thank you, Victor. We're not going to do the type and chat here. I just think this is a good starting point. Is we've now been through 7 weeks, and to this conversation, start to think about what you have learned so far. And we're going to do this a little differently than the slide deck presents here. I'm going to present some thoughts for reflection, and then you guys are actually going to have time to do this between now and the weekend. Okay. So rather than type in chat, if you've got a notebook or if you've got something to write down on, just kind of jot down this question to come back to. So the question is, what have you learned about yourself and your beliefs in coaching so far? Okay? So just take a second, jot that down. If you want to screenshot this, however you want to have this question in front of you, we're going to come back to it. But what have you learned about yourself, about your coaching? All right. Okay, and then after what we've learned, next question here is think about your purpose for coaching and your lists of values and beliefs. We're not going to write this down on your own, but I want you to have this question in front of you. So what is your current purpose for coaching and your current list of values and beliefs as a coach? What do you currently say, this is why I'm coaching, this is what I believe in? And it's okay to say, I'm now thinking I need to re-decide on that. To Victor's point, this might be a great moment for you to take a step back and say, what really does matter to me? So have this question in front of you. And then we're not going to do this version of the breakout room, but I do want to talk about self-awareness, and then we're going to come back to these questions. Let's see. Who do I want to pick on here? Matthew, will you read out the slide that you have in front of you here?
Revisiting self-awareness. Self-awareness. Knowledge of self, emotions, thoughts, and actions. Knowing your emotional patterns, how they affect you, and subsequently, controlling your moods. Remaining adaptable and flexible. Identifying strengths and weaknesses.
Thank you. So just the idea of looking inwards. A great piece of advice that I received as a new teacher when I started teaching was on classroom behavior and classroom management. And the teacher that I was working with said, every time that we have a lesson and our kids are misbehaving, we think to ourselves, what's wrong with these kids? Why aren't they listening? What is wrong with these kids? And the point this teacher made was, I always come back and say, what could I have done with the lesson to really engage these kids? How can I give them something that they're going to really want to be a part of? How can I create a lesson that brings the kids in that were otherwise misbehaving? So there was a self-awareness that this teacher showed of, hey, these kids are these kids. It's my job to give them something that brings them in. And I think about that with coaching. If a practice doesn't go well, it's easy to say, man, these kids, They just can't pass. They just can't dribble. Versus how did I let my emotions, let my information dictate what I needed from them? I can drive these kids forward. This is that self-awareness piece that we're talking about. So then if you could do me a favor and just write this down too, how do your values and beliefs impact your role and the environment that you currently work in? So now we've introduced the question of what did you believe before the course? How have they changed? What are your current beliefs? And then how do those beliefs impact your current environment? The players you coach, the club you work in, or the high school? So just have these questions handy, please. And then a couple ideas for reflection. Red light, yellow light, green light. So just thinking about the 3 R's: refine what you already know, research if you want more information, reinforce what are you doing that you can reinforce by what you've learned. So those 3 R's reflection process. What are you already doing? Okay, I know what I'm doing that I like. I want to improve it. It's always good to research. There's information online. YouTube is a great resource. And then reinforce. Is what I'm doing working? Can I make it even better? The triangle, square, circle method, guys. Think about 3 important points that you're reflecting on. Find something that squares with your beliefs or practices, and what's still circling in your head that you want to go back and research more of. I will say one that's not mentioned here, the one that I like the most that I was given through US Soccer is what happened, so what, now what? So what is it that I'm reflecting on? So what? Why is it important? Why does it matter? And now what? What is my next step, my action? So you should have in front of you, let's see. Just stop my share here. You should have in front of you guys a couple of questions. And here's your assignment that I'm going to have you guys do. Here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to give you guys about 10 to 15 minutes to break out into small groups and just start to think through these questions as a small group. Hey, my current beliefs, share out. Maybe listening to somebody else explain their beliefs and values and how that's impacting the environment they're in might help kickstart you. Take those 10 or 15 minutes, and then we're going to come back as a group. Toomey and myself, we're going to talk about your 3.2 assignment and the one-on-ones that we'll be doing after next week to kind of wrap up tonight. But you're going to take these conversations, and what I'd like you to do is really take the time between now and Saturday to reflect, to answer the questions. If you've got a notebook, if you want to do it on a Word doc, you're not going to turn this in, but just put pen to paper and answer those questions for yourself in a little bit of detail. Maybe be ready to share out on Saturday morning when we get back together. Hey, I had time to process my values and beliefs. Here are some things that I really sat down and got to. So this is not going to be an assignment you turn in, but it's just something that I thought would be more valuable to you guys with a couple days to think it over, as opposed to doing it on Zoom and just, the 3 or 4 of us that usually talk kind of hogging the Zoom. This is a reflection piece, so I wanted to have you guys have time to reflect. So break into your breakout rooms. You don't have to share out what you come up with today. Start putting pen to paper tonight, and by Saturday, be ready to really have an answer for what has changed in your values and beliefs, what are your current values and beliefs, and how do those values and beliefs impact your environment? Do we understand what we're doing for the next 10 or 15 minutes? Thumbs up if we do. And again, even if you feel like you've shared out, we're going to pull you back into the main room to review some of the stuff you'll need to close out the course. Any questions?
No.
Toomey, did I miss anything here? Anything you want to add before I send them to breakout rooms?
No, it's good. We're good.
Let's do breakout rooms. We'll do groups of 4 to 5. Okay. I'll set my timer. Enjoy.
Testing.
What's going on, Oscar? I can hear you loud and clear.
Very good. Very good. Very good. All right. Who's gonna start first? Me or? All right. All right. I'll start. I'll start. Whatever. All right. My three reflections. Why did I start it? Um. This because I said because before like last year, like the last month, I said, you know what? I'm a challenge myself. Start to coach and also get the license at the same time. It's gonna be a challenge for me, but within getting the team and doing the courses, all that, like it was a challenge for me. But and also new experiences and recently the training right now. I'm trying to get because it's little kids, and you're trying to get everybody like focused on the training, and sometimes it's like, oh boy, okay, change something else, but sometimes, like when you're brand new, it's like, oh, you want to scream another, okay, hold, and it was, and change something else. It was like, oh boy, it's like new experiences that I need to learn and try to get everybody entertained to play. And I think that's it. Who else is next? Tyler or Emma? Who's next?
Um, I think I can hit you with my current purpose for coaching. Honestly, it's just I'll try to be relatively succinct, but I think like well over half my life ago, I absolutely fell in love with this game. Like I played lots of youth soccer and still remember like World Cup '98, waking up early to watch every single one of those games, and absolutely loved that. And fortunately, I had a chance run in where my big brother has two sons, my two nephews, and when he wanted them to start playing soccer, then he brought it to him, and they also wanted to play soccer, but then one requirement was, Dad, you can't coach us. So the first person on his short list was me, and I went and coached U7s and realized like I have no idea why I'm denying myself the great satisfaction of this. Like I still absolutely love this game as much as I ever did from day one, and I recognize that it taught me a lot. Not necessarily about soccer, but taught me a lot about life through the game of soccer. And as much as I want the kids to enjoy themselves and have fun, I think that there are also life lessons about just perseverance and pushing yourself and discipline that, I love this game, but it is a hell of a vessel to instill those types of lessons in young men and young girls. I just haven't had the opportunity to coach young women yet. So.
Okay, for me, like since I was kid, I like soccer, and I not like soccer. I'm crazy about soccer. That's different. And when I came to America, one of my dreams to be like a player, but I was too old. I said it's okay. Let's go one day to be a coach. And to be honest, we have a big Arabic community in San Fernando Valley. I play like more than 7 years every Friday night, and we have a big group over there. One of my friends, he said that IYSO need a volunteer coach, and I said, okay, let's go over there and see what's going on. When I go over there, they give me like a little kids, like 5 years old, and I said, okay, this is too young. Even I can speak English to, communication between you and the little kids is kind of hard. And I said, okay, let's start with that. You know what? I feel something like make me a different. Young kids, and before, like everyone, you watch the game and you drink whatever you like and enjoy when your team score. But when you be a coach, it's way different. Everything is different. So since that time, I feel something's different. I want to be in that position. And I said, it's okay. if you want to do that thing, you have to learn. You have to get license. Okay, I understand soccer like everyone. You know, I'm from Egypt. I speak Arabic, and everyone knows soccer. Soccer like a language. Everybody understand the language of soccer. You don't have to speak. You can ask them. Okay, dribble. They understand the way to play a soccer. So that's why it was funny to like. It was by accident to involve like a soccer coach. But as I told you, when I start with the 5 years old, I feel something like way different. My now after like 1 year,
Like that?
I watch the game. I'm not like a fan. I'm like a coach. I understand something that the people next to me, they just waiting to the team to score and cheering and have fun, love. That's it. But for me, no. That's my eyes like looks like a different. And of course, I like everyone in this license D. I get more experience from everyone. The only challenge for me, I have to fix it. My English is still not good, so I have because the communication between me and the kids, I have to be more easy, and that's it for now. So I'm gonna give Mo he can talk. I don't want to waste more time for everyone. Thank you.
So yeah, it's funny. My internet's terrible today, so I got thrown out twice. So I missed part of your story. I missed part of Tyler. Get him good. He's like, and then I've been coaching since I was playing time, and somebody asked me to go help out the center other team, and I just in a couple of days, whatever, it wasn't a big deal. A buddy of mine, we started coaching. I think we were 16 at the time. Started coaching 14-year-olds in basketball at the YMCA, and just enjoyed the crap out of it. And so I found myself always with some kind of team or someone to coach. I realized even if it's not soccer, it doesn't matter to me. If I had a jump shot, I'll try to fix it. If it's throwing weird, I'll try to fix it. If they catch football weird, I'll try to fix it. The idea of being able to fight it is such a cool thing because, you know, if you go frisbee correctly, you can fit in over there, right? So it's a really neat way to fit in, super easy as a kid if you can just play, right? Just play. So we get to go, oh, I'm kind of good at this thing. You can go over and you find a bunch of kids that are also playing that thing too. So it's fun, but yeah, like I said, what got me into it was just me and my buddy decided to go coach, and then I've been kind of doing it ever since. I just enjoy watching people understand the game, and then I could go into. We only have 30 seconds left, but that's my first part. That's the part I enjoy is just being around, watching people get better at it and learn it, and when you get better at something, you tend to get happier with it. So there you go.
Okay.
Thanks so much, Mo.
All right.
Who does the D or the grassroots course? He's doing the C educator's license right now. So I'll have to connect you guys if you're doing the C as well, so you guys can, if you guys want to coordinate courses, because he's really good.
No, I'm done with my educator's license.
No, I know, but if you want to run a course with him, he's going to need to.
Oh, okay.
He's good. He's good to work with.
Nice. Yeah.
All right, guys, welcome back. Hopefully you started the discussions that will then spur your own reflection. And again, guys, I'm purposefully changing the meeting here so that you have time to reflect on this. The goal is that when you show up on Saturday, you have the answer to these questions. You don't have to share them out on Saturday, but I'd love it if you started the weekend really thinking about what you are doing as a coach, what matters to you, what's important. So please put pen to paper, jot it down, take the time to write it out so that when we start with this discussion on Saturday morning, you can at least be engaged in the conversation, if not ready to share out your own thoughts and opinions. Okay? Okay. Toomey, I know, wanted to talk a little bit about the 3.2 assignment because we are in that window, and then the one-on-one assignments that'll be starting after next week as well. So Toomey, I'll hand it off to you here.
All right, so, which is, I just wanted to open up the mic to all of you, if you have any questions about the 3.2 that you're supposed to film. You know,
Is it one activity or the whole session?
just one activity of 12 minutes.
Do you guys give us a topic or we choose it? Or like,
No, you choose your own topic. It's either attacking or defending,
okay,
whatever you want to do.
thank
Okay,
you.
just make sure it's not the warm-up. Don't film the warm-up. There's no need to do that. It's just one activity, either about attacking or defending.
I wanted to build upon 3.1, which is like the one that we designed.
Absolutely.
Okay, so like, do you want us to take the feedback that you gave us from that and implement it so it's the same
Excellent.
drill?
I couldn't have said it better myself. Good job.
The ideal
Thank you.
scenario here, guys, is your 3.1. You get information that we give you in the feedback. We have this weekend where you see things that work and don't, and you modify that 3.1 to be the best version of itself that it can be with all the information you now have. That's the ideal scenario here.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Can we do something slightly different than the 3.1? You know, if we wanted to do a defending activity, if we feel like the 3.1, you know, is a minimal number of kids and we want to involve more kids and we feel ready to do, you know, something slightly different, would that be okay as long as it's defending or attacking?
Yeah, so Coach C, say it's about the process.
Yeah.
Right? So we looked at your 3.1 and we gave you feedback on that process. So just try to apply some of the feedback based on the process and just do your session. You're good. You should be good with it, you know, which you're going to show your sophistication and you're going to show your growth. Basically, that's the idea of 3.2, that we have. Now we can create a better activity, better than 3.1. That's all.
So the activities, they need to have a sequence, right? Activity 1, activity 2, and activity 3?
Yes.
All right.
There's the warm up, there's activity 1 and 2, and then you film only either 2 or 3, whichever.
Right.
Do you want us to submit a training plan that has all 3 drills? Or,
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's going to be, it's going to be that PDF and then also a video along with it. Just double checking.
Yeah, so it's that video, exactly. Okay. Now, and remember, I think they have some questions for you to answer as well, because you're going to reflect on that activity, how you did, and you have to fill out answer the questions below. Okay.
Can you repeat that one more time? I feel like that was a good point. I missed it.
What?
It was, you said we have to submit a PDF, which we did in a way, right?
You
the
did.
figure.
Yeah, you said same PDF, but now you got to fill out the top portion. You got to fill up the warm up, and then the activity and the second activity. You have to fill out the whole thing now. Okay.
All 3.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, all 4.
Yeah, exactly.
The
top
template has
portion.
4.
Yes,
The
Coach.
top portion, which is the session plan,
Mhm.
and the 3 activities with the explanation of every activity on the side of it.
Wonderful.
Plus, underneath of that, the interaction, the coach interaction.
Of course.
How you can interact with the environment.
And we submit that, Coach. That's after the game plan.
Yeah, so you submit that because you'll have 2 areas. One is to submit that in, and the other one is for the video.
And the video is just activity number 1 or 2 or 3, just one activity.
The video is for activity 2 or 3, one or the other.
Yes, Coach. Good. Yep.
And then there's questions in the bottom of that.
Yes.
You have to answer. Okay? So I'm going to open it up here. Adam, do you mind opening up 3.2 and so we can share, or I can share?
Sure. Let me pull it up. And then, guys, on that note, you should get your game day plan in ASAP so you don't have 2 things to be getting done here, guys. Just making your life a little bit easier here.
Excellent point.
What is that?
Question. I received on one of my feedbacks to use the sources. template for the training session. Are we supposed to be using a different one?
No, that's the one to use. I may have, I didn't realize they'd put a new one in there, so I may have said to you, hey, use it, and I didn't realize there was the new Word doc one in there.
Okay, because the one I used was not the Word doc, but the Excel version.
Those are both fine.
Okay, cool.
Can I make a request, since we're going to be in person all weekend, that it not be due Sunday like we did last time, that maybe it's Monday or Tuesday? I'm deferring to you guys, obviously, but
You'll have 2 weeks after to get it in.
no, I'm talking about the game day plan that's due this Sunday.
No, get it done. You've had plenty of time. We've been talking about it. Get it done. Come on. I'm going to say get it done because if it sounds like I'm being harsh here, weeks after the fact, and so you can concentrate.
I'm confused by how straightforward that was.
Well, because it's so straightforward. Reflect on a recent game. Think about how you set up your team, the information you give them, what you ask of them at halftime, your reflections after the game. Again, it's really a reflective piece as much as anything else.
I remember that. Okay, coach. I remember that.
Oh,
That's
I'm gonna use like one of my own recent games I've played in instead of, because obviously I'm not coaching games. That is the one issue.
Morgan, let's hash out a plan for you at the end here when we're done, because I think we can come up with something a little more productive than that, because it is such a different experience to play in the game versus coach a game. So hold off on that thought. I will give you something productive to get out of this assignment. Okay.
Okay.
boy, I think I have to record again. Oh well, whatever.
All right, so coaches, some of the questions that you had, they're already answered in this writing on top. Now go to the top, Adam. See right there. It is up on 3.1. Right? So design it, and connect 2 additional activities related to the training session objective. They have to be related, so it has to flow. So let me tell you something about training sessions. In essence, the best way to remember them is that you're telling a story. You're telling a story from the beginning to the end. That's how you think of it. It has to flow between the session plan to activity building, important to build on the first one, and activity 3. Why would I do this? That is so important to build on activity 2. So it has to be like a narrative, in essence. Okay. So try not to jump around, from place to place. And please, don't take it as I'm trying to scare you off, like this is hard or anything. No, just do your best, okay, to follow this instruction that they're giving you over here. Okay, just do that, and we'll give you feedback. And if there's anything to be redone, we'll send it back, and you can work on it some more. Okay, so submit. It says submit your template below, right here on the first one, and then submit your video second, and then analyze and reflect on the implementation of that session that you've filmed. And you have to answer these questions: 1 or 2 things to stop, 1 or 2 things to continue doing, and 1 or 2 things to start. Fill all this stuff over here before you send it in, please.
Guys, I want to stress again, I put in an example of a 3.1 or a 3.2 video in the communications tab. Go back and look at that. We need the whole field visible. Shows that you can do it. This should feel like we're watching a 15-minute chunk of a practice that you run.
I'll have a schedule for all my candidates that are under my leadership, so I have you guys schedule you guys for the one-on-ones. Okay, because this course ends March 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so we have to do a one-on-one with everyone before, by March 3rd. Okay, so be ready that you have to schedule a one-on-one meeting.
Okay.
Same on my group, guys. We'll push out a Google Doc like Toomey will to set up your one-on-one meetings. Those happen after this weekend. To Toomey's point, guys, the course ends on March 3rd. So between this weekend and March 3rd, you have to get your 3.2 in. You have to have it be marked satisfactory. So if there's revisions, you have to go do those. have to meet with us one-on-one on Zoom, or I can do phone calls as well. All license. So you really need to start thinking about putting in the time to get all of this done. Alicia, I see your hand up.
You guys are mentioning March 3rd.
And try to submit if I need some adjustments to do, can I? Okay. I see.
Any other questions on that?
Do you have a date that you anticipate pushing out that Google Doc for the appointments?
I imagine we'll have those ready for you for this weekend, so you guys can start signing up. And now remember, you can't do your one-on-one meeting until you have finished all your coursework. So your 3.2 needs to be in and marked satisfactory before Toomey or I can meet with you, because that's the last step of the course, where we review your 3.2, we give you the feedback on your work in the whole course, and either say, here's your D license, or we say, hey, sorry, you're a Spurs fan, so we can't give you the license. Go ahead.
Can I hit you with another? Just because of where I practice, I am not going to have access to an entire field. So can I just make the activity appropriate for the numbers given the space I am allotted?
That is a.
I'm talking about like a quarter of a field.
That's a reasonable thing to do. I've seen really good D assignments with 20 by 15 grids. So it might be your second activity where it's still smaller numbers. And if you can get to your objective and your player actions and your coaching interactions and your coaching points make sense, and you can do that in a small space, that's coaching, because not everyone has a half field to work with.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So guys, the small space is not a problem at all. If you can work it based on the number of players you have, it's fine. But be careful. Sometimes you're sharing the field with others, and you have others that are loud, and we can't hear you. We can hear them. And soccer balls from the other team are being, kicked right into your session and everything. So, yeah, it's small space, but also talk to the coaches around you and let them know you need to kind of like privacy for like 10 or 12 minutes.
Good suggestion. Thank you, Toomey.
Right.
Any other questions?
Can a pug goal be used as a big goal?
It's got to be appropriate for your players. So if you tell me you're working on finishing chances and you're using a pug goal, I'll probably ding you on that right away.
Yep.
Okay. If you know you only have a pug goal, you probably want to do an activity that would be appropriate to have a pug goal.
Yeah, so that's where kind of Coach Z mentioned that if you could do defense, because I could use the pug goals and a gate defensively.
You can use a pug goal and a gate for attacking or defending. Remember, these activities can work for the attacking team or the defending team. So your pug goal can be there for your attacking or your defending team. I'll tell you guys, if you start telling me, hey, I want to switch to defending or I want to do transitions, you're making your job harder. We really focus on attacking. A lot of our sessions have been there. There's no reason for you to make this harder than it needs to be. Okay?
Copy that.
Any other questions or concerns or thoughts?
Yeah, last one. It's on my feedback. It's saying U12 younger. If I only have access to U14, is that still okay?
I think that's fine. U14 is fine.
Okay.
Toomey, you disagree?
Well, we're at the 11th hour, so I must do what you can. The one thing, I think it just got mentioned by Adam. Listen, guys, if you're gonna do finishing, if the word finishing is in your objective, you have to have a goalie, because it is the goalie that really works harder, in that moment. Defenders and the goalie. Make sure you have a goal and a goalie.
Yes. Cosign, yes.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea, guys, to review your 3.2 template with us if you have it for this weekend before you get on the field. So if you want to have that part of it ready for this weekend to go over with us, that would be a great way to avoid having to redo the whole thing.
Absolutely.
I have a question.
Yes.
What is the minimum age group?
The minimum age?
Yeah.
You're trying to say how young they are?
Yes.
Okay. let me ask you, what is this course about? What ages?
7, 8, 11, 12.
There you go. You just answered it. Good job. Answered it, buddy. Yeah, 7-year-olds, fine, but you're gonna have 10 to 12-year-olds. It'll be perfect.
Thank you.
Any other questions, guys? All right.
What are we gonna do about in my case, for the high school playoff games?
I put in the communications tab, guys. If you have a high school playoff game, you need to communicate with Toomey and myself in the communications tab, and we will work out an alternative if you have a game that's been pushed to this weekend. But you got to put it in the communications tab so we have it in writing, and we can make sure that we formally set you up for success here. Any other questions? Okay.
Coach, does our D license count towards older than 12 and 14-year-olds?
Your D license is not a requisite to coach. It's just the focus of this course is on these age groups.
Mm-hmm.
Your C license would look at older age groups. When you get to your B and your A, even older, and then more focused. So the A is for youth or senior. This is just so you have a better understanding of these age groups. It's
exactly.
Okay. We are same space, same everything, classroom and field space on Saturday and Sunday. I should be there earlier than 9 to open up and let everyone in. Who's volunteering to bring the coffee this weekend? Who's bringing it on Saturday?
Well done, Mo.
My guy. We'll be there.
Yeah, like that he was fixing his.
I can maybe do it. I got a little Starbucks, a little something.
That's very appreciated.
You're good, Mo. He's good.
Dang it. No soccer games, huh?
I haven't looked yet.
No games.
Guys, be ready for this weekend. We have a lot to go through. I think having your 3.1 ready is a great way to, or your 3.2 session ready by Sunday so we can look at it together is a great idea. I've seen a lot of coaches run their 3.2 session on the field in person to get the feedback immediately. That's a great idea. We'll walk you through a lot of this again. Please have your reflections from tonight ready so that you can engage with that conversation to start Saturday. If you have a high school game on Saturday, stick around for a second, and then Morgan, I want to address your individual concern. Otherwise, guys,
also Nicholas Calderon, can you stay on, please?
And then everybody else, if you're feeling confident, like you know what you're doing, you are free to go, and we will see you guys this weekend. Okay. Morgan, I'm going to start with you when everyone logs off. All right.
See you guys this weekend. Have a good one.
See you guys this week.
See you guys this week.